about to talk about something that I never expected to be talking about on YouTube. Hey guys, this is Sophia and welcome to my bedroom. This is technically not my first time filming in my bedroom, but it is my first time kind of showing you my bedroom in the background. So anyways, as you can tell from the title of this video, I'm talking about something that's quite personal to me.
Which is why I decided to film on my bed, because my bed is my comfort zone and I'm talking about something that's out of my comfort zone. So I'm trying to even things out a little bit.
But before I get into it, I do want to make very, very, very clear that I'm talking about, you know, my own parents, and this is my own personal experience. I'm not talking for anyone else's experience, and the fact that I'm talking about my parents in most likely a negative light does not remove the fact that they are amazing parents to both me and my younger sister. They've sacrificed a lot that I'm not sharing with you. So even though I'm sharing like these negative aspects of my relationship with them, I really want to make very, very clear that my entire relationship with my parents are not all negative. For the most part, I have a very positive, I have affections for my parents basically. I love them and I could never be who I am today, where I am today without their support and without their sacrifices. And I also want to make clear to you that, you know, if your parents are body shaming you, that I'm 100% sure that that's, you know, they still have some good qualities that you respect, that you appreciate, because in the end, you know, our parents are human as well. They have both positive and negative traits just as we do. In the moment, it's really hard to see their positive traits, and I've definitely been subjected to that mindset. But, you know, from where I stand today, I know that even though in the moment I was in a lot of pain and emotional turmoil, I still loved them and respected them. So now that that disclaimer is out of the way, let's just kind of get into story time basically.
Now I need my tea, because I'm about to spill some.
I'm just gonna really quickly overview my history with body image, and then I'll definitely get into, obviously, you know, how my parents factored into that. So I hit puberty very, very young. I think I hit it at age 8, so that's 2nd grade. I had a huge growth spurt. I was basically the tallest girl there was for a couple of years, and that also meant that I, well, you know, started developing breasts and all of that good stuff, acne, you name it. So because of that, I was really self-conscious in my body because no one else had gone through that yet, and I thought I was, you know, when you're 8 and you're going through puberty, you're like, why is it just me going through it? So I would always be like hunching over because I didn't want to show my chest, because I'd actually get made fun of for having a chest. And, you know, I'd always hunch over also because I didn't want to be the taller than all the other guys basically. So that was not a great start to my body image. But back then I was honestly relatively thin. I hadn't really gained any stomach weight.
That's actually where I gain most of my weight, is my stomach and thighs and my butt.
So I hadn't really gained a ton of weight, but my parents were already being like, hey, maybe you should stop eating this much, or maybe you should stop eating this. Don't gain weight,
because otherwise it'll be really hard for you to lose weight when you get older.
So that was kind of the phrase that was always being drilled into my mind. But at the same time, they would be like,
oh, here, eat more, eat this, eat that. And, you know, when other people fed me, they'd be like, oh yeah, go eat this, go eat that. It's okay to eat.
And then, you know, in my teens, when I moved to America, which I don't think I said back when I hit puberty, I was living in Australia. In my teens, when I moved to America, I was very lonely because I had just moved here. I had no friends. I had no history with the country, nothing. And I was constantly being stuck at home, constantly under my mom's supervision. And she would say the same things to me over and over again. She'd say, hey, like, you should eat this, like, you should eat more. But then, you know, 5 seconds later, she'd be like, wait, why are you eating this much? You shouldn't eat this much. If you eat this much and you gain weight, you won't be able to lose it anymore, or it'll be hard for you to lose it. In the end, it was a lot of mind games for me as a teen. And, you know, on top of that, when you're a teen, you're also going through
like trying to get good grades, trying to think about the future, trying to figure out what college you want to go to in the future, trying to figure out what you want to do with your life, like all of those kinds of things.
And that was rough. You know, the entire time living at home, I was always kind of on my toes. I never felt comfortable eating in front of my parents. I extremely never felt comfortable asking for specific kinds of foods in front of my parents.
For me personally, I really love comfort food. So I like pizza, I like burritos, I like burgers, I like pasta, I like Asian foods that have high carbs, like dumplings, boba tea, fried rice, like ramen. So all of those like Asian foods too were my kind of foods. Like I like to eat those and I still like eating them.
But I never felt comfortable asking for them. And when I moved to America, it's also when I started having my aunt as an influence as well.
Before in Australia, like it wasn't that bad because my mom was always working. She only got like 5 minutes in the day to really lecture me, and then after that she'd basically leave me alone, so it wasn't that bad.
And then when we moved to America is when she started having more conversations with my aunt. And again,
I'm mentioning a very small snippet of my relationship with my aunt, so I don't want, you know, you guys to think that my relationship with her is all bad.
But basically she started grounding into my mom that I was getting fat and that I was eating too much.
That instead of white rice, my mom should make me brown rice because brown rice is supposed to be better for you and healthier and less carbs, blah, 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 blah.
Which meant that I was getting double the pressure to look a certain way. And then when I went off to college, it was a little easier. So you know how they say first year in college, you get the freshman at 15. I remember actively telling myself every day that I cannot gain that weight because if I do, the moment I go home, my parents are gonna comment on it.
And it worked out because the dorm that I had chosen to live in was a 5-minute walk from the gym, and that was on purpose.
So actually, the first year of college, I didn't actually gain my freshman 15. I remember I was very proud of myself when I went home and my mom told me, she was like, wait, did you actually lose weight? And I was like, yeah. And I was proud of it. I was still eating delicious food. I was just more wary of how much I was eating and going to the gym for like an hour or two.
This was when I only did cardio, so I'd spend like an hour and a half on the elliptical and then maybe like 10 minutes on the Stairmaster.
Sophomore year and junior year is when I gained probably more than freshman 15, and I dreaded going home both years because what my parents do is the moment they see me, they only see your physical attributes. It was always a conscious thing for me to decide what I would wear to go home because one, I wanted to be comfortable on the flight.
Because a 6-hour flight from the East Coast to the West Coast is no joke.
But at the same time, I needed to think about what I was wearing and how that would affect their image of me and my body. So even if I wanted to wear like, you know, crop top and leggings to the airport and to go home, I had to think,
oh wait, if I wear a crop top and I don't have time to change and I get to my parents waiting for me at the airport, they're gonna see like my stomach fat or whatever.
So I always had to, you know, wear like baggy tops to cover my stomach, and I'd still wear leggings, but I'd make sure the like baggy top I was wearing could cover my butt, and still they would always comment like, oh, hey, you gained weight, or hey, you look bigger than last time. And you know, that never helped my relationship with my parents because every time I would see them, the first thing I would be scared of is that they would comment on my weight. Even when I went home for college, I would change what I wore. When I wasn't living at home, I was wearing like shorts and like a t-shirt to go to sleep. The moment I was home, I would wear like long pants, long PJ pants, long like PJ shirt. I would basically cover as much as my body as I could because I didn't want to walk downstairs in the morning and my mom's like, hey, your legs are too big, or hey, your arms are too fat. And I hated that. I love to eat. That is just who I am. I love doing it and I will never stop eating. But when I was home, I couldn't eat as freely as I wanted to. So I would always sneak snacks.
Because I was wearing long sleeves, right? So I would sneak them under my sleeve, or I'd put them like under my shirt and like between my waistband. So, you know, if my parents ever walked out of their room and saw me, they wouldn't see me holding food and they wouldn't lecture me.
There's still more. Last year, my parents came to visit me and I had gained weight.
Like, there was just no way around it. I knew I had gained weight. I was already feeling like not as body confident as I wanted to be or knew I could be. But, you know, I was still happy with myself. Like, even though I was having more low days than high days, I still loved my body.
And then my parents came and, like, that trip scarred me for life. Like, I cannot just thinking about it, like I might cry, because that trip was a turning point for my relationship with my parents. As I had said throughout this entire video, my parents have been body shaming me since I was like 8 or 9. I never thought beyond that. Like, you know, I got used to it basically, which, by the way, absolutely sucks that you have to get used to something as negative as that. But I'd gotten used to it. And on that trip, my boyfriend didn't want to come with me. He had to work. So he didn't come with me. And usually he is basically my buffer. Like,
if he's there, I automatically feel calmer. I'm less likely to get lectured by my parents because my parents would not want to do that in front of basically a stranger.
That entire trip, my parents would make passive aggressive comments on my body, would give me side eye if I ate an extra slice of pizza, would, you know, use me as an example to my sister to not gain weight, or use reverse psychology on me. This is something that they've always done to me. They've always said, like, your self-confidence will be so much better if you lose weight. And I never understood that, because my self-confidence before I see them is always through the roof. I'm like extremely self-confident. The moment they see me, the moment they start commenting on my weight is when all of that self-confidence disappears, and then that they say those words to me, and I'm like, well, no, my self-confidence falling comes from you like talking about my body. Even though I knew it was reverse psychology, it still didn't feel great. And on top of that, that trip, we were also supposed to see my extended family, my cousins and my aunt. And in the few days I spent with my parents, they had already lectured me every single day
about my weight, about my body, about going on a diet, about eating less, about all of that stuff.
And then the moment I see my extended family, my mom has like backdoor conversations with my aunt, and I can hear her. And it got to a point where my aunt actually came and got me and sat me down and told me how to diet, how to lose weight, why my mom was being like this to me. And that hurt more. To be told off by someone who's not even your own mother was worse, because it made what little self-confidence I had go down the drain. I made like, I'll insert here, I made a TikTok about this, but because it's like, TikToks go by quickly, I didn't really have time to get emotional about it, but like thinking about it and saying these things out loud, that trip hurt me. And when I came home, every time I see my parents, because they always talk about, you know, my body and in a negative way, I always come back home to my boyfriend like in worse shape than I was when I left. I cannot stress how amazing my boyfriend's been to me, because he has always been the one who had to pick up the pieces when my parents hurt me like that emotionally. And after that trip, it scarred me for a really long time. And honestly, every time I see my parents, it always scars me. But that one especially hurt. And when I came back, my boyfriend said this to me. He said, oh, what did he say? I already just forgot. But basically, my boyfriend was saying that like this sort of mental abuse was hurting my mental health. And that was like the moment I knew that he was right. Like, I had to cut off my parents basically to protect myself. Because of that trip with my parents, and with what he said, I decided not to go home for Christmas that year. And I knew that would hurt my parents, but I made an excuse basically saying that
I don't want to go home because they will feed me a lot of food, and then instead of losing weight like I had promised them I would end up gaining weight. And
after saying that, my parents accepted it and basically let me stay in Boston for Christmas and New Year's. Wow, I honestly did not expect to cry during this video. But that basically started my weight loss journey. I want to make very clear though, like, my initial reasoning for going through weight loss was my parents. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it was because of them. I wanted them to basically shut up, but throughout the process, I learned that I have to do it for myself as well. And I have to want to do it, otherwise I won't follow through on it. And as time went on, I did want to do it. Not necessarily like by choice, it was more like I made lifestyle changes that I was happy to make and that I could follow through, and that's how I ended up losing more weight than I probably had anticipated I would when I started the journey. Hey guys, so this is me obviously post-editing, I am currently editing this video. So I did film a Q&A and I was going to include it, but when I sat down and I started editing the video, I realized, one, I was being extremely talkative, but two, I didn't want to leave anything out because, you know, the point of it was to share with you what I had been through, and by leaving certain things out of my journey, I just feel like it wouldn't be authentic. But I also don't want to make like a 30-minute long video. So I've decided to cut the Q&A aspect out of this video. That being said, if you've been watching this video all the way through and you have any questions that you didn't get a chance to submit, or you didn't know what to submit because you didn't know what my journey was like, let me know. You can DM me privately on Instagram. I check all my DMs every other day. I'm gonna film just a separate Q&A video, or if you're comfortable, you can obviously comment on the comment section of this video, which it's totally fine if you don't. I understand that, you know, anonymity does mean something, or it's a topic as sensitive as this. If you've been watching this all the way through, again, I want to say several things. One, I cannot express my sympathies, which I know mean basically nothing, to you if you are living with someone who body shames you, especially during this time when going out is not really a viable option. I really don't know like what that could be like. If I was stuck at home right now with my parents, I don't even know what would happen. I probably like would want to move out right away, even though moving out during a pandemic is a terrible idea. Honestly, again, I have no idea what you're going through, so I'm really, really sorry. But I know this will mean basically nothing. You will emerge out of this stronger. Just hang in there. I know I came out of this stronger. Number two, I know I'm in an extremely privileged position to be able to not live with the people who body shame me. And the third thing I want to say is, if you are watching this from TikTok, thank you so much for being here. The reason why I was brave enough to even film a video like this, and honestly, I'm still a little bit nervous, to be honest, to even post it. The reason why I've even filmed a video like this is for you guys. Being on TikTok, filming those TikTok videos for you is extremely therapeutic for me.
I'm not doing TikTok or sharing my journey for anything else other than the fact that, you know, it's a way for me to process what the negativity that's been in my life, and it's a way for me to kind of get that, you know, negativity out of me.
There's one more thing I want to mention. Towards the end of the video, I did mention that I started losing weight because of my parents. I wanted to get them to shut up, but there were other reasons too. I really don't want, you know, if you are being body shamed, that you think that, oh, like losing weight will get my parents to stop body shaming me. That's absolutely not true. Honestly, I've lost a good amount of weight since the beginning of 2020. But I know as soon as I go home, my parents are always going to be like, you need to lose more weight. Like, there's just never enough weight to lose when it comes to people who body shame you. Like, they're never going to think you're doing enough. As I was going through the journey, I started adopting the mentality of, I'm doing this for myself. I want to make active lifestyle choices, and if I lose weight, then that's just a great byproduct. And there were other health reasons as well as to why I decided to lose weight, which I will absolutely not get into because that's definitely for a separate video. If you want to watch a video like that, let me know in the comments. Even though in the video I mentioned that it was just to hear my parents say shut up, there were layers of reasoning behind that decision. So I really don't want you to finish this video thinking that, oh, like, you know, I was able to lose weight because I was being body shamed, but it's absolutely not true. I don't want anyone, again, to finish watching this video and think that being body shamed is good. It is never good. Like I said, it was mentally and emotionally harmful for me, and as you could tell from the video, even though I filmed it basically almost a year after that trip, I'm still scarred from it. Talking about it, and even while I was editing, I was trying really hard not to cry, and putting those moments into words and then regurgitating them to you was, again, therapeutic, but it brought up feelings that I never wanted to go through and I never wanted to experience ever again. Again, if you have any questions, DM me privately on Instagram, but otherwise I will see you next Sunday for another video. It's going to be my August vlog. Bye. Don't know what I was doing there. What? Okay, bye.